What's up? I'm B and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going over some stories that Bethany Beal posted to her Instagram regarding her business She Works Smart, as well as her kind of personal brand. It seems like Bethany's releasing a lot more products on her own as opposed to as part of Girl Defined Ministries with her sister Kristen, who is the other half of Girl Defined Ministries. Basically, she recently released a PDF of like questions for couples and like daily challenges that they can do to help kind of grow their intimacy. And now she's also going to be releasing a single girls guide PDF. And she said that this is to help single girls walk in singleness in the way that the Lord intended and be content with that, as opposed to wanting to be in a relationship so badly. Although it is interesting because it seems like there's a lot of indication from Bethany that she really wanted to get married, and like waiting to get married was really hard for her, and it was something that she struggled with, and like waiting to find the person that she would marry was not a fun time for her. So I do think it's interesting that she's putting so much emphasis on needing to be joyful in that time, but that's just me. Let's go ahead and take a look at this first reel. This is from her Bethany Beal account, and then I have some thoughts I want to share on it.
Okay, really quick, I need to hurry and do this before Davey finishes bath time with Dave. I have the entire ebook for singles on basically just learning how to thrive in this season and also preparing for dating and marriage, which I think a huge part about preparing for dating and marriage is learning to like thrive and live for God all out right where He has you right now. So that's a big focus of the ebook. It's completely written. It's completely ready to go. Dave is actually going to do the interior, like putting it together, designing it for me, and he had a little extra work thing come up, which has been part of the delay. So that's done, and he thinks he can get it done for me tomorrow. So I hate to keep saying like it's gonna be here, but I did put some extra work in it to make it like super extra epic and awesome for y'all. So all my single peeps, keep your eyes out because I promise it's coming soon.
So a few things in there. Bethany keeps promising it. She's saying it's almost ready, it's coming, be on the lookout, and then it's getting delayed. It just seems kind of unorganized, in my opinion. I feel like she's promising something and then not delivering on it, which then also feeds into my skepticism about her She Works Smart business, especially with the type of product that this is, because first and foremost, she wrote it, but Dave's the one who's doing the interior. Like, Dave is the one who's doing the interior design for it, and she can't put it out because Dave had to do his like legitimate work. Dave had to do extra work at his day job as opposed to helping his wife out with this thing. That's kind of weird, and a lot of people were commenting on it, and she addresses it on the She Works Smart Instagram, so we'll get to that. But it just seems like if she's going to be teaching a course on creating passive income and she's creating this whole masterclass training, she's focusing on stay-at-home moms, saying that they can create their own businesses and they can do it all themselves, and she can teach them how, but she's not even doing it all herself. She's having her husband help her. And then again, it just is indicative of how disorganized she is as a business owner. The fact that she keeps promising this thing and can't deliver on it, and it makes me feel like there's going to be some kind of delay with her master course coming out, her master class, which is supposed to launch in September. I feel like there's going to be a hiccup when it comes to that, just because of what we've seen with this single girls PDF guide. Like, it should not be that difficult. It should not be that hard to get this PDF guide out when creating content online is how you make a living and you're promising it to your audience. But that's just me. I mean, she uses Canva. It's a very easy thing to use. She could really kind of knock this out pretty quickly. Not like super fast, but within a few hours, if everything's already written, she could get it up pretty quickly if she just kind of buckled down and put her mind to it, in my opinion. But now let's go over to the She Works Smart Instagram, where she did a Q&A, and let's address some of those. So before I pull up the Q&A, I just want to remind you what her Instagram bio on She Works Smart says. It says, Bethany, online course creator, entrepreneur. I help women turn their passion into money by creating their own online courses, daily strategies to grow your biz, VIP course training coming in September. Just says Bethany. does not say Bethany, and Dave does not say the Beals. Keep that in mind because it is relevant. So the first question I want to go over is somebody asking, how do you come up with pricing if most of design, etc. is done by Dave? Most people won't have a Dave to do it. And Bethany says, I could do it myself. I have experience, etc. This is our business, the Beals. This is a huge way for Dave to contribute. I will take you step by step on creating the course. The setup is only one tiny aspect. Developing the idea, creating the content, writing everything, recording and filming are the bulk of the work. The tech setup is one of the final steps. My pricing is based off of the value I believe this course will offer. Those who see the value will take it. Those who don't, won't. So it's like, oh, I could do it myself, but I just don't want to. Like, Dave can do it. It's a way for him to contribute. It's a way for him to, feel like he's helping me out in our business. When literally the Instagram page just says Bethany, it's just about her. It does not say the Beals. And I think it's kind of patronizing for her to say, like, oh, it's a way for him to contribute when he literally has a job. Like, he has a job outside of being Bethany's assistant. He is making money for the family. He doesn't need to get your pity contribution points for doing a decent amount of the work in creating this course and bringing this course to life, and in also bringing your PDFs to life because you don't want to design the interior, right? It just feels patronizing to me. I don't like it, and I do think it's kind of, I don't know if hypocritical is the right word, but to sit there and tell people, like, you can do it all on your own. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know when you didn't do everything in creating this, and it seems like there's an issue in things getting put out on time because you're not the one doing it, because your husband is taking his time outside of his work to put extra effort in for you to get it out. So it seems odd to me. I don't like it, and a lot of other people see an issue with it, so I'm not alone in this. I wanted to include this next question because I feel like she asked it herself, or she had somebody else ask it for her. It says, I love working at the office. Could I make social media a side job instead of full-time? And she says, absolutely. Most online course creators only work part-time hours. I know very few who put in full-time hours. I only plan to ever be part-time. I have another job as well. I get it. Like, hey, I know we've got some chaos going on. I know we've got some delays, but I've got another job, so take it easy on me. Like, I feel like that was an intentional question that was asked, not just a coincidence of somebody who genuinely wanted to know. Next says, any specific price range? And she says, yes. The price for the full package will be $1,900, but I will run a $400 discount for launch week. I researched long and hard. This is the Oris Point price point. Side note, so many things on her Instagram are misspelled. I don't like to go all English teacher on anybody. Far be it from me to correct somebody's grammar or spelling, but when this is a business account, maybe you should proofread your answers and your captions. This is the price point I keep coming back to. There will be monthly payment options or a pay in full option. Again, I'm looking for students who are serious and ready to begin learning and taking that first step. I know the course will offer more value than $1,900. If you take it seriously and work hard, the return in the long run will far outweigh the initial investment. Then she says, I have invested in many courses myself and they are always worth it. The return far outweighs the investment. So I think this price point is absolutely ridiculous. $1,900 for her first go around in releasing a course trying to teach other people how to do something when she has never taught other people how to do said thing before. Absolutely ridiculous. I would never pay that much money for somebody whose first go around it is. I couldn't see it. I wouldn't even pay the $1,500. I agree that when you want to learn something, sometimes the investment is worth it. Sometimes you get out what you put into it. And so if there's kind of that risk factor of hey, I invested a lot of money in this, sometimes depending on what motivates you, you're wanting to take it more seriously because you did invest and so you put more effort into it. But if you're taking people who have absolutely no social media following and having them take this course and expecting them to turn a profit like that, I think that's an unrealistic goal. And I think it's kind of cruel to charge this much money to people when you have no guarantee that they will be able to sell their course, that their course will be even good, that it will be something that people want to buy. She's done like no market research as far as I can tell. And it's infuriating to me that she thinks she can charge people $1,900 for this course. I am sure that there are people who will pay for it. And I'm sure, if Bethany saw me say this, she would say, like, well, I know my self-worth. And so it's important to, charge what you think you're worth, and you shouldn't put yourself down or hold yourself back just because you're afraid of seeming too expensive for somebody. But this is not a realistic price for whatever it is she's going to be putting out. I can guarantee that it is not equivalent to the value that you will be getting. And I think it's taking advantage of your audience to price your first course this highly. Next one says how to get over feeling like you're too young / inexperienced to be an authority on a subject. She says it's not about your age, it's about your experience, knowledge, and understanding of a subject. You have to portray yourself as the expert. If you don't feel like you're of expert level, do whatever it takes to get there. Some of the most confident and helpful experts I know are very young. The world is changing. People care less and less about age and more about what you have to offer. Great. How about you work on actually putting a course out? How about you actually work on helping people grow their social media followings and make money online? How about you focus on that instead of the chaotic series of reels and TikToks that you are continually seeming to post, recycling your old content, doing it's called garbage can, not garbage cannot reel 6 different times, and then being like, well, if something does well, you should obviously do it again because it's what your audience wants, and maybe some people didn't see it the first time. Yeah, okay. This is something that I will address separately. So Bethany redid a reel just in different outfits, and people were like, oh, you've already done that, like, why are you recycling that content? And she gave this BS excuse about, like, well, not everybody sees everything that you post, like, not everybody who follows you sees it, and if something does well, it means your audience obviously likes it, it's a popular thing, so that's a great way to gain traction, and da 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 da. Great. The thing about, like, resharing content or repurposing content is to put a new spin on it. It's not to say, oh, hey, this reel did well, so let me record a new reel with the same exact idea, like the same exact audio, and just put on a different outfit because maybe that one will do well too. That would refer to something like, I don't know, just thinking about content that I make. If I put a reel out or I put in a video like 3 red flags of an online course and that video did really well, I could say, hey, people are really interested in this. Maybe I should build more on it. And then I could say like 3 more red flags or questions to ask when you're considering taking an online course. It's not that you take the same thing and you just do it again wearing different clothes. You build on it, you expand on it because you see that your audience is responding well to it. Okay, and then the last question I will go over from this set of stories is somebody saying, I'm trying to get a following / support for a really long-term project, help for keeping people interested. And she says, I wouldn't start talking about the specific project until you're 2 to 3 months from release. People lose interest. Focus on building a following around your niche and they will be ready for your product when the time comes. I agree that you should have a shorter timeline of your offer. Like if you're going to start a project, you don't want to be like, oh, a year from now this thing's going to come out because yeah, people will lose interest. If I was a follower of Bethany, I would have already lost interest in this course because I'm like, you keep talking about it and yet I have not seen anything. I haven't seen a sneak peek. I haven't gotten an idea of what the modules will look like. You just keep saying it's coming and expecting us to wait for it. And even her saying like, oh, 2 to 3 months, this project is coming out, or the masterclass is coming out in September. And she started this Instagram in May. Let's confirm because I don't like to be an unintentional liar. Okay, I was wrong. First post is from June 4th. So that's basically all of June, all of July, all of August, if I remember my months. And then September. So depends. As long as it comes out beginning of September, I guess she's following her own advice. But if the, single girl's guide is any indication of her being able to follow a timeline, I'm not feeling optimistic. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was going through the reels because I just wanted to make sure that I was being correct in saying, like, oh, she posted the same reel, like using the same audio, but it was just like a different outfit. She did that twice. No, she posted the exact same reel 2 times with the garbage can and garbage cannot, and then also one about like when you're 33 and you start a new business and she looks like this. She posted that one twice as well, the exact same way. Her addressing it said like, oh, it's not cheating. No, it's not cheating, but it's like, why do you want to put out the exact same thing over and over again? Why wouldn't you just like share it to your stories and be like, oh, in case you missed it, like I thought this was a great reel. Why does it need to be on your grid twice? I feel like that's, I don't know. I don't want to say it's like lazy, but it's just weird to me. I don't understand why you would do it. I get that what she's saying is like, oh, repurpose your most popular content. You're not really repurposing it. You're like not technically resharing it either. You're just posting it twice. You're not sharing it and trying to spread the original reel. You're trying to get a whole new set of traction on the exact same video just posted a second time. That's even weirder to me, I guess, because before I was like, okay, I can kind of understand where she would have the misconception of like using the same audio and the same concept, but just filming it maybe like a little bit differently. Nope, she's just posting the exact same videos multiple times. All right. Anyway, speaking of her reels, she posted a reel talking about like tips and bonuses of having your own business. And one of the benefits was you only need one course and you can sell it passively forever. And I think that that's a really bold statement to make. I think it's really misleading because when you start at something, you're not going to be good at it right away, right? Like that's why people are afraid to start new things. People don't like sucking at stuff. People don't like feeling like they're not good at what they're trying to do. And so to say, like, you can just make one course and sell it forever and make hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per day is incredibly misleading. You're probably going to need to do a few iterations of whatever your course is in order for it to be good, in order for people to find value in it. And you might want to expand on those things. You might say, hey, I created this course and I feel like it doesn't include everything that it should include. Or you might gain more knowledge as you go on and you want to add to it or create an entirely new course with all of your new information. This just seems like you're trying to oversimplify something that is pretty complex and just be like, oh, it's easy. You just throw something out there and you make thousands of dollars. So that way people will think you can teach them exactly how to do that and pay you thousands of dollars. $1,900 to be exact, unless you get it in that first week, which of course you get the amazing discount and you can only pay $1,500. Okay, I had to jump in and give a little bit of an update because literally 2 days after I filmed this video about Bethany and how she hasn't released any sneak peeks or anything like that, Bethany did decide to release within her stories a sneak peek of what the modules will look like. Basically, it's just her showing you what her notes look like in her journal. And it's all very basic. I won't go too much into it, but it's just like the first page says, welcome, celebrate, download PDF, imagine the future, dream big, your why, niche, how to test your idea, choosing your course type. Then I'm assuming she's going to say like, oh, and like these are the levels of accomplishment that you hit once you start putting out content. Bronze, all freebie forms, Facebook/Drive, DRIV, I don't know what that is. Silver, just audio with a PDF, gold, audio and slides, and then platinum, video, slides, PDF, private group, price point. She has a spot like over on the right hand side in a square that says mini design/brand and Dave. And then the other thing is I had said like, well, she hasn't even released anything. Like if I were a regular consumer, I would have lost interest by now. She released a free niche PDF where you put in your email address, and you get the PDF emailed to you to help you choose your niche. Now, this is a clear attempt at just gaining people's email addresses and trying to build your email list, which surprisingly, all of a sudden, she's now making reels and posts about how to grow your email list. So this is a common tactic. Lots of people do it. I don't like it, but I understand why people do it, because it's like, hey, you want this thing from me? Great, just give me your email address and I'll email you with my newsletter or my updates or whatever. So she's obviously going to use this email list to sell her course. But I've looked at the PDF, and let me just tell you, it is nothing revolutionary. You can Google how to pick my niche and come up with thousands of podcast episodes, blog posts, videos, free resources that you don't have to put your email in to get. And honestly, like, somebody posted it on Reddit, so I'm very appreciative because I didn't have to put my email in to see it. But it reminds me very much of a video that I believe was done by Vanessa Lau. Not that it's exactly the same, but in reading her niche, that, like, in reading that PDF, that's what it reminded me of. But I don't know that it so much reminds me of that video as much as it is like, this is basic advice for picking a niche, right? Like, this is something that a lot of people say, and advice that a lot of people give, and a lot of people give it for free. They give it without needing any information from you in return. So again, if you're looking to get more information on niching down or finding out what you might be able to dabble in creating online content or creating a business, there are plenty of free resources out there. You do not need this this little niche PDF. So just had to put that out there, had to give y'all an update. Obviously, I filmed that video before she released those things, well, released the PDF and showed inside of her notebook. I don't really think those are like game-changing events, but in my video I did say that, you know, she hasn't released anything, she hasn't shown us a sneak peek, and so, you know, as a consumer I would have lost interest, and because she did release them, I figured it's the right thing to do to include it in here, so that way you all have the most up-to-date information that you can. Now, back to the video. Yikes, Krispies. All right, that was it. Those were the only things I wanted to go over in this update video, although I was going through my screenshots, making sure I went over everything I wanted to go over. And I remembered that I took a screenshot of something that I was going to share on my stories. I still will. It'll probably have been shared on my stories by the time you see this, but in case you didn't see it, if you have a Fry's in your area, they are doing tax-free back to school days at the beginning of August. And it's not in every state, but they have a list, especially if you have their app. They're like kind of promoting it there, where there'll be a few days in early August where you can buy school supplies and certain select items tax-free. I'm not getting like paid to say this isn't an ad or anything, but I just thought that that was really cool. And especially with inflation and just like the cost of living going up, everything being so expensive, I love a good deal. And unfortunately, they're not offering those tax-free days in Arizona, but you know, I just figured I would share it. I'm like, that's cool information to have, and it kind of sparked my memory in going through those screenshots, so I figured I would share it in case it was relevant to you. Best of luck. Hopefully if you have to buy some school supplies, they've got a deal going on in your area. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. But that was all I wanted to go over. Let me know what you thought of the question and answer, the reels, the captions, all of that stuff that she's putting out there regarding her business, because I am concerned. My concerns for this masterclass just keep on growing, and I will keep following it until this class comes out. I know sometimes I will pay money to get books or buy certain products in order to review them on the channel. That will not be happening in this case. I will not be spending 1,900 American dollars to buy Bethany's masterclass. And I hope that, you know, if anybody does decide to spend that money, I hope they get value out of it. I hope they find it useful and they don't just feel like they've been entirely ripped off. But the odds of that happening, I feel like, are not great. So I guess time will tell. In the meantime, like I said, let me know what you thought of this and her post and all of that down below. And while you're doing that, if you would consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel, that would be incredible. And if you're subscribed already, Thank you so much. I am so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. Thank you so much for watching. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.